Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I hope that all of you are good and safe and sound at home. Students, today we are going to deal with the paraphrasing of poem that is Stopping by Words on a Snowy Evening. So let's start with the first one stanza. Whose words these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his words fill up with snow. So I have explained you before line by line this poem, students. So let me tell you that how you will write the explanation of each stanza. All right, you will mention first the name of poem and poet. These lines have been taken from the poem Stopping by Words on a Snowy Evening, written by Robert Frost, and then you will explain the lines. In these lines, the poet stops by some words on his way one evening. He knows the honor of the words and even where he lives. He is a bit relaxed, thinking that the honor of the words lives in the village, and so he won't see him stopping here. Therefore, he can continue watching the natural beauty of his snow-covered words. The next one stanza is, my little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the words and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. So you will start with both the name of both poet and poem. These lines have been taken from the poem Stopping by Words on a Snowy Evening, written by Robert Frost. In these lines, the poet, let me tell you what are in these lines. The poet says that his dear horse must think it strange to stop here between the words. I told you before about the situation, about the condition of the horse in the previous lecture. And the frozen lake, and in a dark evening, as he normally stops near a farmhouse. So I told you before there was no farmhouse. So he was a little bit confused that why are they stopping there. All right. He says that the weather is cold enough to freeze a lake. There was a frozen lake there. The expression darkest evening, this one expression, could suggest several things. Maybe the narrator, the poet here, was very depressed. So he is using the darkest evening here due to his long journey, or maybe because of the cold weather. The third one stanza, students. He gives his harness bells a shake. Now who was shaking the bells? The horse was shaking the bells. To ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. So the explanation starts with both names. These lines have been taken from the poem Stopping by Words on a Snowy Evening, written by Robert Frost. So in these lines, the poet says that the horse is shaking his head, ringing the bells, attached to his harness, as if the horse is asking his master, the poet, that it is unusual for him to stop by the words in the darkness, right? So he was thinking that why they are standing there, and he was shaking his harness bells to ask his master that why they are standing there. There are sounds, the sounds of the harness bell and the sound of the light wind blowing snowflakes. I told you before, students, that there was two sounds. First sound was of harness bells of horse, and the second one sound was there of the wind, the snowflakes, as the light wind is blowing the snowflakes. All right, moving on towards the next one, right? The last one. The words are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So this is the last stanza, students. These lines have been taken from the poem Stopping by Words on a Snowy Evening, written by Robert Frost. So in these lines, the poet says that the words are lovely, dark, and deep. So he is using the adjectives here to for the words, right? This indicates that he is enjoying the scene and wants to do so wants to stay there for a long time, but he has other responsibilities in life. He has to go a long way before he sleeps, so he cannot get the enjoyment for a long time. He has to move on. So at the end, what happened, that he was thinking about the responsibilities, the duties in life, so he decided to go back towards his home. So this was all about today's lecture, students. I hope that all of the points are clear. You have to learn these, memorize these, the explanation, the paraphrasing of this poem, right? Write these on your neat notebooks and send me the picture of it so that I can check it and send it to you back. Thank you very much.